Yesterday, the Democrats crossed the line and we're now in uncharted authoritarian territory, the likes of which is usually only seen in third world countries, with the arrest of President Trump for not using campaign finance funds to pay for a personal matter. That's what this entire thing revolves around. And now that Fat Alvin, the district attorney, Alvin Bragg, has unsealed the indictment and released and published the details of what exactly the trumped up charges are, no pun intended, here is CNN actually admitting the truth.
Your reaction now that you've had a chance to go through it, is it what you thought it was going to be, and are you unimpressed?
It is what I thought it was going to be in terms of
a bunch of trumped up charges.
Focusing on the payments that were made, the falsification of the records, and really tied to the payment that was made to Stormy Daniels.
Sloppy.
In terms of a case that's being brought against a former president, it's a little underwhelming. There's not more to it. There's not more violations, tax violations. There's not an incredible new set of facts that we didn't know about publicly. It's really the facts of this case as they have existed for basically almost 7 years.
That's just some random no-name legal analyst, you say, who's never going to appear on the network again for not pretending that this is some big bombshell, right? Well, here is the former deputy director, second in command of the FBI, Andrew McCabe, who sold his soul to CNN. He, too, surprisingly, can't even pretend that this is some big deal and that these are actually serious charges.
If I had to characterize it, it's disappointment. I think everyone was hoping we would see more about the direction that they intend to take this prosecution. What is the legal theory that ties that very solid misdemeanor case, 34 counts of misdemeanors, to the intent to conceal another crime, which is what makes it a felony? It simply isn't there. Now, it's possible that the
members of the jury are going to be a bunch of morons and convict no matter what?
It's possible that the DA has an elaborate and solid theory that's
conspiracy theory
backed up by a lot of evidence, and he has just decided to conceal that at this point. That would be a...
Yes, he's hiding the real evidence and the real reason. Well, I guess he is hiding the real reason, but he's hiding the real evidence that he has just to wait for his Perry Mason moment in trial.
At the end of the day, if all of our legal friends read this indictment and don't see a way to a felony, it's hard to imagine convincing a jury that they should get there.
Neocon and friend of the globalists, John Bolton, said this.
Well, speaking as someone who very strongly does not want Donald Trump to get the Republican presidential nomination, I'm extraordinarily distressed by this document. I think this is even weaker than I feared it would be. And I think it's easily subject to being dismissed or a quick acquittal for Trump.
Even Mitt Romney, whose real name is Willard, by the way, whose policies didn't really vary much from Barack Obama's when he was the fake opposition against him back in 2012 for the presidency, issued a statement saying, quote, "I believe President Trump's character and conduct make him unfit for office, even though I believe the New York prosecutor has stretched to reach felony criminal charges in order to fit a political agenda." But here's the moment that the entire fake news industrial complex and the Marxist Democrats have been waiting for 7 years.
Donald Trump, former president of the United States, frontrunner for the Republican nomination for president of the United States, is now under arrest. We've never seen it before. It is a sobering moment.
It's a sad moment. Who would have thought that the communists would have actually conquered the United States? Here's another clip from inside the courthouse, and as sad as it is to see, everybody should see this so that the gravity of this situation begins to sink in.
We don't know how much the former president... Let's watch. Let's just watch.
President Trump, will you come speak to us, President Trump?
And the media can't help but just being clowns. Will you come and speak to us? There was no mugshot taken because they were concerned that it was going to be leaked and that it would be so iconic and it would rally the base and it would perfectly illustrate the tyranny that has now engulfed America. But this photo was taken of the president outside the courthouse, showing that he really hasn't even aged at all in the last 7 years. a defiant gesture against the deep state, against the communists who are now pounding the final nails into the coffin of this once great country. After his arrest, his arraignment, his court appearance, he returned to Mar-a-Lago and then issued a rather lengthy statement about the kangaroo court and the political persecution that was surprisingly aired on CNN, at least most of it. But over on MSNBC, this is what their viewers were fed.
Is making remarks tonight from his home in Florida. As far as we can tell, and what we were prepared for here is that this is basically a campaign speech in which he is repeating his same lies and allegations against his perceived enemies. It is just getting started. He's
the one who's lying. They say just his perceived enemies, so they don't even want to have the other side of the story heard, of course.
So far, he's just giving his normal list of grievances. We don't consider that necessarily newsworthy, and there's a cost to us as a news organization of knowing.
You are not a news organization.
Broadcasting untrue things. So our deal with.
That's all you do is broadcast untrue things.
You is that we will monitor these remarks. If he does say anything newsworthy, we will turn them around and report on that right away. But for now, just know that it's happening and we're not taking it.
Can't let their viewers hear his reaction. Can't let them actually hear what's going on.
And I never thought anything like this could happen in America. Never thought it could happen. The only crime that I have committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it.
Things have gotten so strange in this now joke of a country that this is literally a scene from the circus yesterday in Manhattan. Wait for it.
I believe it's not a prosecution, it's a persecution, it's a witch hunt.
So there is a fake Donald Trump driving around in a fake presidential limo. Meanwhile, the women's NCAA basketball tournament wrapped up, and it's customary for the winner to get an invitation to the White House. But here's Joe Biden's caretaker deciding to change that tradition.
So congratulations to both teams. So I know we'll have the champions come to the White House. We always do. So, you know, we'll have LSU come. But you know what? I'm going to tell Joe, I think Iowa should come too, because they played such a good game. So, right? So winners and losers, that's sportsmanship. That's good sportsmanship.
That is utterly ridiculous and the embodiment of the participation trophy entitlement generation. And since they didn't take a mugshot of President Trump because they knew how iconic it would be, a lot of people were still asking me to release a Trump mugshot shirt. So here you go. It is our political prisoner and favorite president, Donald J. Trump. Order yours from my online store at markdice.com or click the link in the description below. Like all of my designs, it's available. A t-shirt, long sleeve, and a hoodie, and a whole bunch of different colors as well. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check them out.